Hello and welcome to 5 Minute Math. Today we are looking at the fourth grade concept of area and perimeter. This is 4.5D Readiness Practice Intermediate version. If you're interested in exploring the 4.5D Readiness Practice Proficient or Advanced versions, or the Readiness Practice resources aligned with any other standard, you can find those by using the link in the video description. So we have a rectangular garden that is 5 feet long, 3 feet wide. So let's draw our rectangular garden. Let's just label our sides here. Now we need to find the perimeter and the area. Okay, so what is the perimeter? Let's look at that first. The perimeter is the distance around a polygon. Polygon is a two-dimensional shape that is closed and has straight sides, no curves. So what is the distance around? Well, we need to know that if the the length here is 5 feet. That bottom is also that same distance. So if the top is 5 feet, then the bottom is going to be 5 feet. And if the left side, the width, is 3 feet, we could bring this over here. We could say that's also 3 feet. So that's one of the keys with perimeter, especially if you're missing side lengths, is using other side lengths to see, well, if that's the same length, then you can just repeat that number. And so really what we're looking for here is we're looking at, if we start from here and go clockwise, right, we're looking at 3 plus 5 plus 3 plus 5. Now we also have a formula on our formula chart. Double the length plus double the width. What that means is you take your length and you multiply it by 2. You take your width, multiply it by 2, then you add those two. And so what this top one is going to get me is 5 and 3 is 8, 5 and 3 is 8, 8 and 8 makes 16. This makes 10, and this makes 6. Doesn't matter which order you do it. Either way, your perimeter is going to be 16 feet, whether you just add all the way around or whether you use this formula 2L plus 2W, double the length plus double the width. So that is the perimeter. Now let's think about our area. The area is think of it as the number of squares that don't overlap, that fill the middle of a polygon, or the inside. Let's say the inside probably would be a little bit better because we don't want it to feel like you can't get to the edges. All right, so I want to draw squares. How do we know what size the squares are? Well, let me erase these blue lines here because our squares are going to be in line with, they're going to be 1 foot squares. Since our unit is feet, let's make them 1 foot squares. So I'm going to have 3 feet that go across this way. And I'm going to have 5 feet that go across this way. And so we can literally just count our squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now that is the slow version, right? We can also, some of you noticed, we can just multiply the length times the width. So that's going to be the length, right? We have it back up here. The length is 5, width is 3. So that's going to be 15 feet, but they're square feet because they're little squares. So my area is going to be 15 square feet. And when you get a rectangle or a square, ultimately the shortcut is just to multiply the length times the width. So the perimeter is 16 feet. The area is 15 square feet because they're using different units. The area makes squares. The perimeter is just feet as a linear distance. So for number 2, we have a square. And a square has an area of 36 square units. What is the perimeter? Well, if we have a square, that means we've got a parallelogram that's got 4 sides. 4 right angles, and 4 equal sides, right? So these are 4 square corners, and we know that each side of a square is going to have the same length. So we need to think what times what equals 36, and these are both the exact same number. So what number times itself makes 36? And if we get that, well, then we should be thinking, all right, so that is going to be 6 times 6, because 6 times 6 makes 36. So now I've got my side lengths. So that's my area. Now remember, the perimeter equals double the length plus double the width, or just adding all 4 sides. So what is my length? Well, 6. What is my width? Also 6. So that's going to be 12 plus 12. So that is going to be 36 square units. We don't really have any units, so we could just use the word units. This is 24 units, because if you think about it, that's just going to be 6, 12, 18, 24. So here's my perimeter, 24 units. And we got that because we were able to draw our square and know that it has to be 6 times 6 to get you up to that 36. And for our third problem, we have a composite shape. So this is a strange looking shape. It's like 2 rectangles, or a rectangle and a square kind of put together. And so you can cut this up in a few different pieces. So watch, if I did this, I can create 2 different rectangles. Or if I wanted to, I could do it like this. Either one of those work. I'm going to go back and do my first one, but if you did the second one, you would get the exact same numbers. So let's deal with the area of these 2 shapes. So if I'm dealing with the area of this top one, I need length times width. And look, I've got this 12 that goes from side to side, and I've got the 7 that goes up and down. Okay, you don't really need that 8 unless you're doing it the other way. So this is going to be 12 meters times 7 meters. So that equals 84 square meters. And now let's look at our lower one. It looks like a square, but really it's different lengths, which means it's going to be a rectangle, not a square. So I've got my 6 meters times 4 meters, and that equals 24 square meters. And so I'm not quite there yet. Now what I need to do is I need to take those two and I can just add them up. 84 and 24, that is going to be 108 square meters. Like I said, if you were to break it up the other way, right? So let's take this blue one like this. This would be your 8 times 7. So that would be 56. And then I would have this really long 13 that goes all the way like this. And then that would be times my 4. So 13 times 4 is going to be 52. And guess what happens if you add 56 and 52? Still going to get 108. Doesn't matter which way you cut it up, you're going to get 108 square meters. If you are interested in exploring the 4.5D readiness practice resources for the intermediate, or the proficient or the advanced version, or the readiness practice resources aligned with any other standard, you can find those by using the link in the video description.